Meeting women's dad, that was always a hard thing for me because I'd get so nervous around dads because you know how you're like, yeah, I'm a pizza boy and I live in my mom's basement and I'm hoping that my music dreams come true. It was just like not a good look for dads at all. I'm Teddy Swims and I'm a singer from Atlanta, Georgia. And yeah. My granddad was a Pentecostal pastor. My dad was not like that. And I preferred being there a lot when I was a kid. My parents divorced, I think I was maybe 4 years old. And he always would put me on to the good stuff when I go over to his house on the weekends, you know. Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, that kind of stuff. That's where the real roots of music came for me, for sure. I was in 4th grade the first time I ever heard Al Green. So we had this teacher, her name is Miss Barry. I don't know where she is now, but I was going to the school in Middle Ridge when I was staying with my dad for a few months, and she used to tell all of us kids, like if you shut up after recess, come back in, everybody doesn't talk, they do their work, we'll play the greatest hits of Al Green. I didn't know why these kids were so excited to like stop and not talk and do their work, and I remember hearing, I'm so tired of being alone. And it just like shocked my whole world. I had never heard music like that, right? I had like grown up on country music and like, Southern gospel tunes, you know? So I had never heard like soul music. And I went home to my dad like, yo, who is Al Green? This is like the most incredible thing. And so he put me on to everything, man, from Al Green to George Strait to Keith Sweat to the Beastie Boys, Two Live Crew, just Boys to Men. So I was able to always like do stuff I wasn't able to, you know, on my mom's side of the field. When I was a kid, my biggest dream was to be tattooed. If somebody asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, it was either be a comedian or be tattooed. Every Friday we would get $10 for our allowance for doing little things around the house. And so I'd save them up till Sunday. We'd go to church, and after church we'd go to Mexican restaurant. I'd get all $10 put in the quarters, and I'd cash out on tattoos. There's pictures somewhere of me I was sitting in and put tattoos all over myself and just sit in the mirror like this. I might have been like 6, 7 years old, you know, making flexes and tattooed, covered in them. I always wanted to be tattooed. That was like my biggest dream as a child, which is being tattooed is not a career I know now, but it was my dream. In Florida, you can get tattoos 16 years old with parents' consent. And at the time, I didn't have my ID either, and so I had my mom like overnight my driver's license I had just gotten, and so we could go get tattooed. Well, we had different last names, so we had went to like 3 or 4 shops just to get like a highway robbed on a tattoo. I ended up getting covered up. I got this tattoo of a cross right here, and it had a banner with my real last name in it, Dimsdale, and another banner that said established 1992. Such a douchebag tattoo to get, bro. And so, of course, at the time, I was like on the football field and stuff, cutting the shirt, like the sleeves off of my shirts and feeling like, oh, tatted up, you know what I mean? And it was, a couple years later, like, when I started actually getting tattooed, like, that's not a cool tattoo, dog. That is so lame. Lame ass tattoo to get. When I was 18, I had everything pierced, like my labret, my tongue, my Monroe, my nose, little dermal. I had inch gauges. I was just, because I couldn't get tattoos before, so I was just piercing everything. Eyebrow, everything. Everything was pierced. And it wasn't until after high school, you know, I had to get a job and take a bunch of out of my face. But yeah, so she took me to like 3 different places to try to get it. And we finally got it. I remember the lady that tattooed me too, it was nuts. She had there was 9 piercings I counted, no eyebrow, just nine loops that wore her eyebrows.
You mentioned the Pentecostal pastor.
Yeah.
How did he react to the first tattoo?
Man, he was always good. I think for him, his thing was always, son, the calling of God is without repentance, and you're meant to do this and like lead on this legacy of his and preach the gospel and stuff. And so he always told me when I first started getting really tattooed before he passed, please just don't get your face tattooed. And funny enough, my first face tattoo I got home at last is something that my grandma said when he passed. And so I got a face tattoo to commemorate his death. As a just, you know, if heaven exists, then he owes me an ass whooping when I get up there. Just a last chance to, he's my hero, I love him to death, but just a last chance to piss him off one more time. I started with this arm, and actually got this tattoo was the second one. Well, on my 18th birthday, I got this tattoo right here that says compassion. And then I got my mom's lips on one of these areas. She took me and like kissed a piece of paper and put it on me, and I thought a senior in high school, I was like tatted, you know, I thought I was really doing it. And then shortly after, I got this guy, Heroic Bear of the Despair. It was my first metal band I was in after high school, and I started my sleeve with that. We suck. You can still find us on YouTube. It's fucking horrible music, but you know, they started me, so here we are now. If it wouldn't have been for that shitty post-hardcore band, we wouldn't have Teddy Swims at all.
When did you first notice strangers noticing your tattoos?
Man, I guess since I got them, you know, I think for me it was always tough, like dating girls and like being tattooed. Meeting women's dad, that was always a hard thing for me because I'd get so nervous around dads because you know how you're like, yeah, I'm a pizza boy, and I live in my mom's basement, and I'm hoping that my music dreams come true. It was just like not a good look for dads at all. I think that was the hardest time where I had a kind of coming up where I realized that I'm more than my image. If that's the phrase I like to say all the time. I'm much more than my image. But I always liked that as a child, even all the way through when I was painting my hair, or like when I was dyeing it, or when I was piercing my face. I always loved the idea of looking one way and being another way. I love this winning someone over and showing people that like it doesn't matter. This stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't affect my heart. My heart is always in the right place, and I want to show everybody that I can in the world, especially in a small southern town. You know, I always felt like that was my duty in the world, was to show somebody that like I'm a good person and I can look like this, you know. And there's people that look a lot crazier than me and are probably amazing people, and they don't get jobs that they should get. They don't get security they should get. They don't get the opportunities and the chances they could get. And so I think for me, my whole life's goal kind of has been, you know, being a walking contradiction, I guess, or for normal people's perceptions of it, rather.
So when you did that first face tattoo, was that a moment for you?
Yeah, man, it was the most liberating shit ever, man. I think that was the first one for me that was like, all right, it's music or nothing. I think Travis Barker or something said it, and I saw it one time where he was like, I tattooed my whole body because I needed to not have a backup plan. I needed to know that this had to work. And so yeah, getting my face tattoo was that first time for me, like, well, it's this or nothing. And no office jobs, no nothing I could do, just dead end jobs until this paid off. And I think you got to live like that. I think you have to do that. You have to make that promise to yourself. And so me starting to get face tattoos was really more of a promise to myself that this was going to work, and it had to work.
Do you regret any of the tattoos? I know you have the cover up.
Yeah,
but
it's just that one.
Yeah, do you regret any of the tattoos you've got?
No, man. I think it was. I don't know. I wouldn't even say I regret that one, because it was definitely it was like such a wonderful moment, you know, and it definitely was my first tattoo, and it was like really the coolest shit ever for me. But I wouldn't have any regrets for it, man. No regrets at all about tattoos. I feel like every tattoo I ever got, as I was getting them, I felt more of myself, the me that I always wanted to be, you know. So even the ones that have little issues or like little problems with them, I think they're like some of my favorite tattoos. The off cuff, like get whatever the hell, you know, I get. I mean, a couple of days ago on tour, our opener Ashland, they tattooed Yonsum on me right here on my hand, right in the green room. And so I think they got character, and there's so much to me and so many stories I can tell. And it's just, I think it's the most expressive, beautiful thing in the world. Tattoos are the best.